What's good, y'all? It's Neo back with another video. Um, losing sight. Losing sight, I feel like is one of those topics that is not really addressed as much, but should be addressed. And today we want to address this. Losing sight is one of those things that happen to, I feel like, most believers, but they don't really assess that that's what they're going through. And to me, it's something that has been happening more recently, but in some cases I have been catching myself. And so I feel like it's my duty to address it to help other people as well. So basically, for those that, you know, don't necessarily know what losing sight is, losing sight in a sense is basically when you lose sight, I feel like it's when you lose focus or understanding that God is taking you somewhere. And that can really come from when you're in trials and when you're in situations that can be tough at first, but later on down the road steadily get, better. You can lose sight that you can lose sight that God is putting you through things for a reason. And so when you're in those situations, it can be very hard for you to stay in the right mindset to understand that you're going to get through it. So basically, to sum it up, not to sum it up, but to go more so in depth with it. Imagine you were going fresh into a new week. It's the start of a new week. It's a Monday. You just came back from church the past day, and now you're going into the week. And so more so as you go into the week, you slowly feel like things are getting harder. You feel like they're getting more challenging. They're not going your way. It's just not overall a good week. At least that's how you may seem. But what you have to understand in those times like that is that it's really just a matter of God testing your faith. It's a matter of God seeing how you're going to do when you're put in trials, when you're put in situations that are uncomfortable. And the reason that they may seem uncomfortable, or the reason that the situations that you're in are uncomfortable, is because of the fact that he's trying to uplift you. He's trying to put you in a new space. He's trying to put you into a new area of your life that has been unexplored. And the only way he can do that is by trying new things. The only way he can do that is by putting you in new situations to see how you will act, to see then how or what you have to do in order to get to that new place. And so one of the things that happens with me, and I feel like it can or it happens to a lot of other believers as well, is that you'll get in a trying situation, and then for the moment while you're trying to figure that situation out, you start to feel or seem that God may not be on your side, or you may see or start to feel that God is not working things out for your good. But what you have to understand and realize in those situations is that he's really just trying to bring you up. He's trying to discipline you. And that can be one of the things that are hard as believers to understand, is that it's it's trying to find the difference between God causing me pain and God disciplining me. For instance, if we look at the story of Job, and we look at how all the scenarios and all the things that he went through all came from a bet, really, from God and Satan. Satan came to God talking about basically, if you take this barrier around Job and allow me to, do my works on him, he'll curse you to your name. And so basically, the whole story of Job, for those that don't know, or those that aren't experienced with that story, is that he was basically testing Job's faith. The whole book of Job is about Job going through trials and tribulations that were really caused from Satan's doing. And so it really all came from the fact that God allowed Satan to do anything except killing him. So it came from Job losing losing his livestock, losing his family, losing his home, to even losing his own personal appearance. You know, Job, it was caught, or Job had sores all over his face, and people started to actually curse him because of the simple fact that he would not curse God, because he thought that, or people thought that God was doing all this wrong. And so one of the things that we can see and understand from Job is the simple fact that when I'm in trouble and when I'm in trials, I have to understand and realize that there has to be a meaning behind it. And in the story of Job, some of Job's friends actually thought that the reason he was going through those things was because he may have sinned or did something wrong towards God. But in reality, in the spiritual realm, it was really because God allowed Satan to test Job's faith by having all these bad things happen to him, to see if Job was really strong of his faith, which later in the book he was. And so to make that all come back to the simple fact of losing sight is being able to understand that when we go through those trials, when we go through those situations, when we go through those things that are hard in life, we have to understand that there is a stronger force within us being worked out. You know, we have to understand that when God tests us and disciplines us, we have to understand that it's for the better of us, and being able to understand what it is that we're struggling with and what it is that we're working on. If you think about it, right, for anyone that is a student of any sorts, right, when you fail a test, right, and you have a redo, you have a chance to take a redo. Before you take the redo, you go back and look at the test that you failed to see what are the things that you weren't as good at. And so in that same case, that's the same metaphor for what God has us going through. When God tests us the first time and we fail at it, we fail by how we react towards the situation. We then have to establish and then have to assess ourselves to see what it is that caused us to fail. And then once we do that, God will slowly build us back up. He will discipline us. He will practice with us how to be able to withstand the tactics, or how to withstand the things that we're failing at. And so then next time that we go through those challenges, or next time that we go through another test, we're able to actually win at it. We're able to actually be able to prosper because of the fact that we took the time to practice what it is that we're not good at. And so when we are losing sight, when we're in the aspect of going through the week and things are getting tough and things are not going our way, don't lose sight that God could be very well disciplining you in those very moments. He could be very well seeing how you're going to react to those things. And if you don't act, or if you don't go about it the right way, you maybe just need some more practice. But don't lose faith. Don't lose trust that God is doing something good in your life. Don't lose trust and faith that He is taking you somewhere new. And be able to understand that in order for you to get something new, you have to do something new. And then sometimes when we're in that transitioning phase, when we're in that state of mind where things are kind of shifting, you have to understand that things are uncomfortable when they're unknown. Things are uncomfortable when they have been undiscovered. And so that's the aspect that we have to remember, that when we're going through things that are tough, when we're going through things that are new, when we're going through things that aren't very, that we aren't very much used to, we have to understand that it is because of the simple fact that we're going somewhere. We're on our way towards what God has planned for us. We're on our way towards what God is doing in us. You know, um, I think it is Romans 12, verse 1 to 2. It talks about becoming a new creation and being transformed with a new mind, a new state of mind. And so when we go through these trials, we have to understand that although I'm going through these things, I'm going to get through it. I'm going to get through it. And that's that type of attitude that we have to have when we go through trials, that we're going to get through it and that we're going to prosper. So, my encouragement to y'all, as y'all go through this week, as y'all go through this month, as y'all go through even the later part of this year, is don't lose sight. Don't lose sight that God is on your side. Don't lose sight that God is with you wherever you go. Don't lose sight that no matter how hard things get, God is working through you to be able to make you a better person, to be able to allow you to become a new creation, to be able to allow you to be transformed in the mind, in the thinking, in order so you can cope with different things and very much so help other people. And to be honest with you, I wanted to film this video a couple of times. I wanted to, but I was so caught up in trying to find the right things to say, trying to figure out, how I'm going to address certain situations. Instead of just letting God move through me, instead of just allowing myself to turn the camera on and just record and allow the Holy Spirit within me to say the things that need to be said. And sometimes that's really what we need to do. In situations, we have to speak to ourselves and we have to speak affirmations about ourselves that we're going to get through it, that we're not going to suffer for that long, that God is going to help us out. And in reality, that's all we really need to survive. As long as we keep our faith, as long as we keep our trust, and as long as we keep our confidence that God is going to take us through whatever we're going through, we'll be okay. So that's my message. Don't lose sight, but keep your faith.